evening and welcome to Ghana Connect. Tonight, why is Ghana or the Ghanaian so dirty?
Giving anything to you that is in the toilet there. We are not giving it to you. Okay? It's going to serve as a deterrent to you. Tomorrow, everybody will see what we are doing and nobody will repeat it. You cannot store it under the toilet and use it to prepare food. It's not done anywhere.
The Joy Clean Ghana campaign has this week been offering some great insight into why we are so dirty as a country and as a people. But it has also given us a taste of what is possible in fixing our filth problem. Tonight we will connect Ghana and beyond to explore as the AMA and the Joy Clean Ghana campaign resolve to make a difference. We connect after the break.
So everyone says I'm a Kosia filler, but it's not like I'm nosy or go out to find out the latest filler. It's just that I get 50 megabytes of data free after paying for only the first minute of every call. And so I just keep discovering stuff minute after minute. That's how come I was minding my business, scrolling through my timeline, and I found out Coco has a new baby. Oh, and last week I learned Ken won the lottery. You see, Ken is my brother's friend. So hello, look who's about to roll with the rich and famous.
Enjoy even more value with MTN Free After One. You only pay for the first minute of your call on MTN Free After One, and the rest is free. Plus, you enjoy free 50 megabytes worth of data to browse your favorite sites. Compare where, compare there. So dial *315# to sign up. We day for you everywhere you go. Terms and conditions apply.
Kingdom Books this year back to school promotion is in conjunction with Citidia Supermarket. Buy school items worth 100 Ghana cedis from Kingdom Books and get 12% discount voucher to purchase from Citidia and vice versa. School items include textbooks, pens, pencils, erasers, exercise books across all Kingdom Books branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Takoradi, and Cape Coast. Kingdom Books, where quality and affordability is assured. For further information, call 0302-764209 or 0302-746101 and 0501-401050. Terms and conditions apply.
It's now time for the Joy News Habitat Fair 2019 main event at the Accra International Conference Center. As Ghana's one-stop shop for the building and construction industry, this year we are pushing the theme, Rethinking Building Technology in Ghana to give true meaning to affordable housing. Thinking of buying a home or remodeling your existing structure? Want to know about exciting new trends or just looking for exquisite and durable accessories to make your home unique? Then join us for the Joy News Habitat Fair 2019 in collaboration with Elegant Homes and Super Sem Cement. From insurance, finance, security, and energy, we have you covered. It's a 3-day event at the Accra International Conference Center from Friday, September 20 to Sunday, September 22, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. each day. To sponsor or exhibit, please contact 054-431-0864 or 054-690-8179. For 2019 Joy News Habitat Fairs brought to you by Elegant Homes and General Construction, where quality meets value. Super Sem Cement, build your dream. And is sponsored by Pear Talk, Timeless Architectural Fittings, Vodafone Fixed Broadband. Vodafone, the future is exciting. Ready? DBS Roofing, Roofing Papa Pay Fee, Domod Roof, Distinct and Dependable. McDuncan Company Limited, Building Futures, and Elbeam Reality. Your home is your wealth. Join us Habitat Fair 2019, rethinking building technology to give true meaning to affordable housing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Evans Manson. I listen to you every day, and I encourage you and thank you for all the educative programs you mount.
Well, and this is another one. This is Joy 99.7 FM, and you are live on Ghana Connect. Now, this week we were all left traumatized by the videos, the pictures, and sounds we all became accustomed to worryingly from the Joy Clean Ghana campaign with the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, just uncovering how dirty our communities are. Shocking stuff. If you missed it, here's a taste of what you missed. What a taste to leave a sour one in your lips.
The team served notice to a food vendor who was selling at the edge of a gutter that was inundated with greyish fluid, food residue and plastic bags.
First thing, your poucho, tum, let's see her, we are never room, Safari, no started so why.
That was not all. The Assembly's bylaws demand that food vendors cover their heads and wear aprons. One food vendor was found not to have covered her head. Rather, she had painted her nails.
Cover your head so that the hair will not fall on the food. And then apron. Without that, you cannot sell food for public consumption. Let me see your fingernails. You are not supposed to paint cuties or whatever.
In another home, there was only one toilet, serving over 25 residents.
Now we nipa boy 20 something. Now we see we use toilet. Say, ebi amuko toilet no wo bathroom na mu chichirichiri do two baby meboa. Serve them the letter.
I'll give it to Evera.
In this same house, the first floor of the story building was hanging loosely and on the verge of collapse. There were deep cracks on the walls with a very shaky wooden floor.
You can cave in. Whoever is here can cave in, and a disaster, a pending disaster here. Somebody lives here. All this is a corridor. We are serving her a notice to serve to the co-landlord for you to come and reconstruct here, or you remove everything out from the place here. We will come for re-inspection. When we come and you don't do what we are recommending for you to do, we will prepare you for court.
But the house had more problems. Their gutter was choked with a thick porridge-like liquid. It was a cocktail of filth. The inspector, Asitanga, instructed the residents to clean up. In the house of a popular beans and fried plantain seller, we found her dishing out and selling food right in front of her bathroom that had green algae. The team found out that her health card was also outdated. Guess what? She also fried the plantain at the entrance of the toilet. The most worrying situation for the inspectors was when several bunches of plantain, meant for gari and beans, was being stored by the toilet, an attempt to get it ripened by the heat generated by the latrine.
I'm not giving anything to you that is in the toilet there. We are not giving it to you. Okay? It's going to serve as a deterrent to you. Tomorrow, everybody will see what we are doing and nobody will repeat it. You cannot store it under the toilet and use it to prepare food. It's not done anywhere.
In all, the second day, despite the chaos, was generally successful.
That was the one that really shocked me, but there was something else that happened also in Ashanti region this week. And remember, this campaign is not only being done in Accra, we're also partnering the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly to do a separate one in Kumasi. This week, they also uncovered shocking sanitation condition. This time, folks who were preparing herbal products they found a mixture of feces and urine stashed among the bags for the herbal concoction. Well, if you missed it, listen.
We go through congested small alleys full of herbs, roots, tree barks, all said to have medicinal properties, ready for sale in dirty surroundings. As we descend abandoned rail tracks, which serve as the trading hub for traditional medicine, we come across clusters of unkempt, filthy tents with bags of dried herbs and roots stored in them. Meandering its way through these shacks is a black stinking liquid flowing in an open drain. These sheds house milling machines from where the dried herbs and roots are processed and packaged for the open market.
The medicine, and they are sitting inside. Come and see. Just come and check this.
One of the laborers points to a shop where he claims houses herbal products waiting for mailing. Inside, we find a foul-smelling bucket full of yellow liquid and black polythene bags wrapped and stored amongst the herbal products. Chairman of the Herbal Millers Association at Dr. Mensa, Echo Hammond, admits the environmental breaches, but he wants KMA to provide a new location for their work.
It's a problem to solve, very difficult.
Do you like the environment where you're in?
I don't like the environment.
Does it affect the product you produce from here?
Maybe I would say no, yes or no, because the project is inside. The drain water is here. It's not heavy drain water. Now you ask for new location. KMA is aware that you have approved for new location.
Some of the shops were locked up. So because we did not find the owner, we are locking it up and we are asking the owner to come to the environment office at the KMA for further action. Your area could be next. Keep Kumasi clean. Make Kumasi clean again.
Well, I'm sorry if I spoilt your dinner, but this is just the reality of the country we live in. A simple question after listening to all that and following my colleagues who have been partnering the AMA and the KMA to do this job is, why are we so dirty as a people? I mean, how can you tell me that you could ripe plantain with the heat from the toilet? It just beats me. And so join the conversation tonight. Hashtag Joy Clean Ghana. Already, I've seen a lot of you having a conversation on Twitter already. I want to read what you're saying about this. Let's assess ourselves. We may be pointing the fingers at these folks whose homes were visited, but be honest with yourself. If the team showed up in your home tomorrow morning, what will they find? Be honest with yourself. If they showed up tomorrow in your house, tomorrow morning, unannounced with the cameras, what will they find? Let's have that conversation. Let's reflect on what we do. Wherever you are tonight, I want to get in touch with us. But connecting the studio, Florence is the environmental health officer for the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Florence, I heard your voice loud and clear this week when you encountered some problem in was it Jamestown? Jamestown, yes. You had attempted to, enforce the sanitation laws, get the place clean, and then an assemblyman stormed in and made a life difficult. And that is something we'll talk about as well. Just the attitude of our leaders, and that is the lowest level of leadership as far as the government is concerned is that assemblyman, and yet he's the man who is making it difficult for this to happen. We'll not talk about that necessarily, but what it says about the will to deal with the problem. Michael Boedi is a teacher at Kimbu SHS and an aspiring assembly member for Kole. What's the name?
Dudo.
Kole? Dudo. Okay. Electoral area. This is in Jamestown, correct?
No, this is in
approach the microphone for me. This one.
It's in the southern part of Odio.
Okay.
It's within the Odio enclave.
Okay, nice one. Nice to have you. Yeah. That area is known to be a very problematic area when it comes to sanitation. So I'm happy that you're here. Abraham Musa is a man whose voice we've heard many times on this subject. A WASH consultant. WASH, nice name for water and sanitation. Thank you for connecting.
Thank you.
Christopher is a PRO, right? For Walcott Green Project and coordinator of CESA Recycling, and they're already taking the sanitation, taking the filth, turning it into cash. Absolutely. Simple as it is. Jonathan is a co-founder of Creation Care Concept, a plastic recycling organization as well. We will go to the UK and Germany, where filth is not a problem. They are human beings like us. If you cut them, red fluid will flow out. It's called blood. They have it in them, we have it in us. How are they so clean and we are so filthy? We'll try and learn from Ghanaians who don't mind throwing a peel of banana up through the window here in Ghana, but when they step foot in London, they won't dare do that. Why is that? We'll connect on that. Wherever you are tonight and anywhere in the world, if you're listening to us and you're worried about the filth back home, get in touch. This is how.
Join us now on Twitter, #Ghana Connect Live,
Facebook, Joy 99.7 FM, or send us a WhatsApp on 0244 340 437 and we will call you back. Join the nation's biggest conversation now and connect to authority.
I want to start with a simple question that has been bugging me. It's a very simple one, and let me start with you, Ibrahim, because you've been working on this in the NGO space all the time. It's a very controversial, but a very simple one. I wonder, why is the Ghanaian so filthy or dirty, right? But in that question is an assumption that the Ghanaian is dirty. Are we? I know it's a difficult one. Give me an honest answer.
Yes, I will not say the Ghanaian is dirty.
Okay. What would you say?
I will not say so because if you look at creation, both because Ghanaians are religious. So if you want to take the Bible and the Quran, you will see that clearly in the Bible and also in the Quran, there are clear verses where we are told that cleanliness is next to godliness. So, for instance, if I take the case of Muslim religion, where we are mandated to wash our anus, clean our hands 5 times a day, morning prayer, afternoon, late afternoon, evening and night. It beats one imagination, and as you rightly captured it, that any Muslim should be dirty, because clearly the Quran mandates you that you should clean yourself 5 times a day. To the extent that even when you are preparing for prayer, you don't just go and wash. You have to go with a buta, a container, to clean. And I know Christians do same. So if you say that Ghanaians are dirty, when Ghanaians are religious, then it beats my imagination. But let me run it off as the conversation go on.
No, but I haven't had an answer to my direct question. I'm going to ask everybody that question before we come to the substance because it beats me. Are we dirty? Is the Ghanaian dirty? You have to answer that question. You can say we are not. We are not. Yes. Okay, so the Ghanaian is not dirty. Yes. Okay. Michael, is the Ghanaian dirty?
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one. My first point of call will be that it depends.
Okay.
It depends on you, where you're coming from. It depends on how you're looking at it. My standpoint would be on 2 premises. One, based on institutions, and then we as individuals.
You're analyzing it. I'll come to the analysis. I'll come because when I ask the next level question, which is. Because I think that one there will be no doubt. Okay. Why is Ghana dirty? I think that one nobody can argue. Sure. We are dirty. Sure. Then we go into the whys. Then you come to the institution or not. But the individual in there is what I'm trying to get at. The man, the human being, the Ghanaian. You say it depends. So there's one level where you agree the Ghanaian is dirty. There's one level you agree the Ghanaian is
agreeable,
not.
Yes.
But that's a difficult one to take because you can't have both ways. Either we are or we are not. We can't
that's
be in the middle.
That's what I'm saying. It depends.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So that's your answer.
That's my answer.
I'll come back to you. Florence, you have been dealing with sanitation. You have been on the ground. This is your job. You've encountered so much that I haven't encountered in terms of dealing with sanitation. With your experience, would you come to the conclusion after all the years? How many years have you done this?
19 years.
Oh goodness, you are the best person to ask this question. Please approach the microphone. After 19 years of trying to fight sanitation and seeing where we are today with what you experienced, is the Ghanaian just dirty?
Thank you so much. Before I answer whether a Ghanaian is dirty or Ghanaians are not dirty, let me say a healthy city requires a healthy population and a healthy ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at the ecosystem or the environment that we live in, it is the individual perception that shows whether we are dirty or we are not dirty.
Mm-hmm.
While others are trying to do their part, others are not helping.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody is preventing and somebody is promoting, you see that the promoter goes faster than the preventer. Yes.
The promoters of filth.
Yes, goes faster than the preventer of filth. So that is where we are.
Okay, so on the average,
Yes,
on the balance,
Yes, please.
you are telling me that if the promoters of filth are louder, faster, effective, etc., more than the promoter, then the conclusion is that we are
heading.
We are dirty.
We are heading.
We are heading.
According to a report by HOH, WHO, and then the UNICEF.
Ghanaian is dirty.
Ghana was ranked the 7th dirtiest country in the world.
Okay, so Ghana is dirty. That one, I think that one is not doubt. I mean, I'll come to that question. I'm not asking that question yet. I'm asking about.
So the individuals, some.
Oh. Now, because if we agree Ghana is dirty, but we are struggling to say the Ghanaian in the Ghana is dirty.
The Ghanaian in the Ghana. That is why I'm saying. Some are trying to prevent.
I get you, but you said that those who are trying to get us dirty, they are plenty more than the people who are. So aren't we on the average?
Mentality, Ghanaians
are dirty people.
In quote.
Yes, are dirty people. Thank you very much. Okay. Yes. Where do you stand on that question? Is the Ghanaian simply dirty at heart?
Thank you very much. So, from my own view, it's a yes and no. But my yes is going to be 90%.
Okay.
That we are dirty.
We are dirty. Okay. Because I've heard a lot about attitude now change. Let's change our attitudes. Let's change. I think every campaign that you guys have done over the 9 years you've been there have targeted, and Ibrahim, you trying to change attitude. So if you're changing attitude, there's an admission in there. That is the problem is the human being.
Yes,
the
Ghanaian.
Ghanaian.
Same way Madam Florence is saying.
Yeah.
There's campaign, but people are still
doing it. Okay, so you agree Ghanaian is dirty? 90%. We are just. That's what we are.
For me, yes.
Okay. What would you sound on that question as well? Is the Ghanaian? So remember that when you're saying Ghanaian, you are Ghanaian, no?
Exactly.
Yes.
So you are saying that I am.
Yes.
Because until we look ourselves in the mirror and all say we are all part of the problem, we're fixing this.
Yes.
Are you?
So Evans, can I ask you a question?
Please.
Are you dirty?
I think at heart, yes.
Okay. So if you say that, then I would say we are trying not to be dirty.
But we are.
We are trying. We cannot box everybody in one bracket. Because, for example, if we were all dirty, we won't come and sit here trying to solve the problem. Some are trying to solve the problem and some are trying to destroy, like she said. So then that's what I'm asking you. I'm throwing it back to you.
Yes.
Are you
I
dirty?
answered honestly.
Are you Ghanaian? You are Ghanaian.
Yes.
Right? I'm Jonathan. I'm Ghanaian.
So you are dirty.
You are dirty. You just said you are dirty.
Yes, but I'm asking you the question. No, I've answered your question.
So that's what I'm saying. We can't put everybody in one bracket.
No problem.
Okay.
You,
okay.
As an human being in this Ghana called in the country, are you?
I'm not dirty.
You're not?
No.
Okay. So, beyond you, what you've seen and experienced as a recycler,
yes,
does that point to the human beings in this country being dirty?
I would say the human beings in the world.
Okay. I'm talking about Ghana. I mean, we come to the world. I'm talking about Ghana.
You just said that Ghanaians go to maybe London and they don't do what they do here.
Yeah.
So it's basically systems that are working in place.
So the system that's making us dirty.
Exactly. I mean, because naturally we were like my boss was saying, he started with the Quran. Yeah. So God put us here to have a circular economy. There is no waste actually in nature. Everything is actually reused, transformed, or has to come back to where it started from. That's why God created the tree. He didn't put a seed in the fruit, so that when you finish, you have to plant, so that he doesn't have to come back again to come and say, let there be a tree.
Okay. So your answer to the question is, I'm trying to get it.
I won't put anybody in the bracket. So I'll say, we can't box everybody and say,
no, nobody's arguing with that.
Exactly.
So what is the problem? Is the problem the human beings?
Yes, the
here?
Human beings, yes.
But then that's the answer you've given me. That means that we are the problem. We are dirty. It's okay. I'll come back. Don't worry. I'll come back to explain. You've come to the point. Let me come back to Ibrahim because I started with you. Now let's go. Now that I think generally there's a sense that the human beings in this Ghana we are the problem. He asked me the question. It's a very good question. Are we all honest to ourselves? And I asked the question, if we show up in your home tonight, what would we see? Can we all honestly say we are all part of the problem? Ibrahim, I know you've been campaigning for this.
Yeah.
Can you look at yourself and say in the mirror and say, I am part of the problem?
Yes.
Will you own it?
Yes. That one I will agree that we are all part of the problem. And I will agree to the extent that if you look at the Environmental Sanitation Policy, revised 2010, by the Ministry of Local Government, at least now we are a Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources. In dealing with environmental sanitation, the policy specifies roles and responsibilities. So we have at the mother of all, you can talk about the individual himself. The individual has rules and responsibility in the policy. I have the policy here. The individual
This
rules.
is drawn up by who?
Government of Ghana.
Okay. When was this? 2010.
Right. That's
Okay.
what is currently in place now.
Okay.
The individual has clear rules and responsibility. And one significant role of the individual by this policy, and that gives my sister office that mandate to do what they are doing and what they are doing right. As an individual in your home, you are supposed by this policy to maintain cleanliness. This policy mandates you. You are supposed to maintain cleanliness. So there is no way the individual, based on this policy, even our culture, our religion, that's why I'm saying that we need to situate even this conversation within our culture, our religion. Because Ghanaians are religious people, and even with the policy. There are roles like Clean Ghana by Joy is playing now. Civil society has rules, NGOs have rules, government has rules, the Environmental Health and Sanitation Department, and other bodies. So if you take this, and I always want to summarize this conversation with two important issues. Why we are where we are. Compliance and enforcement.
So coming back to the next big question, yes, let's start that. Why is Ghana so dirty? I guess that's where we are going. Exactly. Let's try and
so
unpack that.
Compliance and enforcement.
Okay.
So if we take sorry to want to make comparison. I remember in your introduction also try to draw that we'll go to Germany.
Yeah,
we'll
go
to
to
where.
UK. So
If you go to those countries, they are not so much. Currently, they spend very little on enforcement, but there are mechanisms for you to comply.
True.
So, our institutions like Environmental and Sanitation Department, and we all Ghanaians, we should help the ministry and this department to rather ensure that people comply, so that we do less of enforcement. Because where we do so much of enforcement, unfortunately, that's where the unfortunate thing happened this week. So unfortunate with the clean.
But if you're not enforcing, how can you get compliance?
So for instance, let me give you a typical example. When we say compliance, you see, when systems are good, people get up. Even the government is trying to implement the polluter pay principle. So even people get up, even the low income areas where the waste bins are there. And then they wake up. If we are talking about solid waste, they wake up and they are able to move from their home, go and get a communal container and put the waste there. In middle income and high income areas, they are lucky to have their individual household bins, so they can be able to put the waste there. As a matter of fact, the waste management company, private ones like theirs, are trying to even educate people on waste separation, so that along the value chain, it becomes very easy, for turning waste to cash.
Yeah.
So if we have that, if citizens have the infrastructure for waste management, then compliance becomes a bit easier.
I get what your point. So let me break it down again to my understanding. So what you're saying is that you go to London, you buy something from a shop, say banana, you finish eating it, you're walking, you're wondering, where do I put this? You don't have a bag on you. Probably you don't have a pocket. There is a bin close by, so you drop it in it. If you walk in Accra, same scenario, you have no bin. Where do you keep the banana? So what you're saying is that you're more inclined in Ghana to quickly want to find a place and throw it because there's no bin, than if you're in the UK, because a bin is close by, you can put. That's what you're saying.
And then
the system is making it easy for you to.
And let me also give you a practical example. I was in Joburg almost a decade ago, and Joburg, there are supermarkets, malls. When you buy something less than $50 worth, you are not given something to put. You are supposed to bring it from your home to collect it.
So that forces you to recycle.
Exactly.
Okay, hold on. Let me go to others. Florence, I want to come to you on this. From your experience, why do we have the problem with sanitation still after 19 years? When you still look around you, and that must break your heart.
Yes, Alaji rightly put it in the sanitation policy. The mandate for individuals, organizations, and then NGOs and all that. That has to play their part in sanitation. If we want to analyze what sanitation is, it's a way of life. That is just the simple definition of sanitation. Sanitation is a way of life. That is practiced in clean home, clean business, clean farm, everywhere. Being a way of life, it must come from within you, the individual. Just as that is how religion is defined, and religion is a way of life. So if you say you are a Christian or you are a Muslim, and then you are not practicing good sanitation, then where lies your religion?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Where lies your religion?
Exactly.
Always, anytime I find myself on airwave, this is what I always say. We make our environments very dirty. Then we go into the church rooms to go and pray and ask God to give us blessing. God doesn't like dirtiness. And God will never come closer to you when you are dirty. It is until we learn to keep our...
If that's the case, then God has left Ghana long ago.
Oh, yes. It is until we learn...
God left long ago.
Until we learn to keep our environment clean, God cannot come closer to us.
Hey, no wonder.
So it is high time the Ghanaian see sanitation as a mandate, a right. You embrace the sanitation as a right. It is my right. It is my duty. I'm not doing it for somebody. I don't have to wait for somebody to come and tell me, clean my house. I need to clean my house. And if I clean my house, whether I have a dustbin or I do not have a dustbin, it does not mandate me to throw the waste into the drain.
Okay.
Because the drain is meant for runoff water.
You agree with that? Whether you have the dustbin or not, you are obliged to be clean.
I think even the dustbins are not helping because, well, if you are bringing a dustbin, would you empty it? Because you see the dustbin have been provided and they're even full overflowing. Yeah. So then, like, nobody's helping anybody at all. You are making it easy. Yes, you provided dustbin, no problem. Glory be to God. But then, would you come and empty it so that I know that I need to be putting? And you know, once I know there's a bin there, whether full or not, they said I should put it there. I'm going to put it there.
Whether it falls on the floor after I put it, that's
exactly.
Okay.
So I mean, putting bins is not. I mean, it's just
a
fancy.
solution in itself.
It's so fancy, and putting padlocks and all of that, like it's just fancy. Yeah.
Why are the padlocks on the bin?
Padlocks locked so that nobody will pick them up. But
really? Are people taking their bins and run away?
Yeah, they do.
For what?
Please let me correct that. The padlocks there are not meant for people picking it.
Okay.
The padlocks there are there so that people will not open it and put their household refuse into those bins.
Oh, then we failed on that.
Yes, because
we have failed on that.
Please let me make this point. Those dustbins there are not for household use. Those dustbins on the streets are for public users. They are for transients. People who are moving around, maybe you bought water, single use, something you are holding, you need a place to dispose it, then you put it in. But as you rightly ask whether Ghanaians are dirty, if those locks are not there, somebody will collect everything.
Not somebody, the Ghanaian.
The
Ghanaian will do it.
That is, even our junkies.
Let's be honest with ourselves.
The junkies collecting waste, sending it to waste disposals out.
We'll
use that place as the final dumping site,
the
and
Ghanaian.
you cannot manage that place.
Okay, so
that is why those locks are on it.
You know, I'm happy you are saying that. The street produces more waste than the homes. Why? The hawkers on the road. So then the waste is actually not coming from the homes. I can tell you the street has more waste than the homes because the home thankfully Zoomline has made it easy for us to have our bins. They come and collect them. So the waste actually is they are on the street. So my point on that was that, like, yes, we provided the bin. Would you have a system to be taken? Maybe you take and come put the empty one, take and dump that one, So by the time you are coming, maybe after 2-3 hours, you have less, So if that is not there, then we are fighting, we are losing the battle because then it's actually a mental thing.
In an attempt to solve the problem, we are creating a bigger one.
Just like we are trying to solve convenience by not taking or having glass bottles and all, we started to go to do plastic to solve that situation. Now we are trying to create a system to solve the problem that we have created again. Takeaway packs were not there when I was growing until we started seeing it. We're solving that. I don't need to take a bottle to go and buy Fanta anymore. Now I just need to go to the shop, and I have a plastic this thing, we solve that problem. But now we are trying to find another way to solve a problem that we created.
So why are we dirty? What is the problem for us as a country?
I really cannot tell.
Really?
Like, you think about it and you wonder, I mean, it's because the very Ghanaian who go to another, I have not traveled out of the country before. People say it, and I believe it. Like,
that's true.
Because if more than 2 people are saying the same thing, there's a truth in there. Yeah. Yes, and well, you are telling me also, so then I believe you. So then, what is happening? Who is not who is not doing what? I mean, there will be enforcement. There will be compliance. My thing is this. I think what is worrying us is we have democracy. Democracy is our problem.
Explain that.
Okay, because people abuse the term democracy. So freedom of this, freedom of that.
What does that go to with sanitation?
Yes, so then I have the right to do things like me to make the way, you know. So then, just as the person, so like I have the right to do maybe A, B, C, to vote for this party, to go here. They think it's the same as everything. So we abuse things. We have our fundamental human rights. But then the rights that we do not have is to destroy what we have not created. We are destructive. Like, we are very destructive people.
Now, let me get Christopher. He has a question. He says he doesn't know why Ghana is so dirty. I think I've heard some examples of the system is making it possible for us to be dirty. Because the people who threw stuff from their vehicles, when they go to London, they will not dare do it.
So, as rightly Alhaji said, we all have responsibilities. So, as the individual you are generating, you should think about yourself. That what is the value of this? Is it because you are paying for it, that's why you are dumping it out, or what?
Isn't it maybe because the system allows you to?
Well,
there's no consequence to the littering. Isn't that why there is?
Yeah.
You don't agree?
Well, for me, I solely lie on the policy about attitudinal change. It's our attitude.
Isn't that the problem?
Attitude. That's our problem. Because if I'm doing my things right, when you come to my house, if I located a bin there where you put your sachet rubber inside. So if you rent my dad's compound or a room, you need to put the sachet into that bin. The other waste can go into the other bin. So if this thing is being done everywhere and we have the systems running, for this person to come for this plastic, for this one to come for this paper, I think...
But we don't have the systems. I think that's a problem. Yeah. Do we?
In a way, we are trying. We are trying. But the policies and enforcements are not actually being enforced in a way.
Michael, you are aspiring to be an assemblyman, right?
Yeah,
so in a different area. So this week when you heard, part of the problem some say is why we are dirty. Is like our leaders simply lack the political will to make this happen, to enforce the law, to put in place the systems that will make it easy for me to comply. So that the second level, when I don't comply and I break, then there's an enforcement. That leaders simply don't. And they say the example that Florence and Co. encountered this week with that assemblyman is a classic example of why we are dirty. You are aspiring to be an assemblyman. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, thank you, Evans.
Conclusion.
I think it's quite unfortunate. The very assemblyman who heckled Florence and his team, happens to be a good friend though. Yeah, but I think tackling the issue of sanitation, it begins with the individual. I think most of us here have spoken about the issue about attitude.
Speak up slightly.
Yes, we've spoken about attitude and all of that. I think it's about time that we need to attack that, mental, issue.
You know how long I've been hearing this? I mean, when I was a kid in primary school, that's all they taught us, attitude.
Evans, you see,
I am 36 years old. It hasn't changed.
Evans,
the attitude is the same.
Evans,
I mean, so would it ever change?
Evans, it begins with you and I. So assuming you live in an environment where you find, you find an individual, littering, remnants of sachet water or anything, nothing should stop you from, telling the person that, hey, why are you littering? Why are you littering? Yeah. I think about 2 years ago, some colleague friends of mine, we wrote a proposal to the mayor of Accra, Mohamed Nia Jesoa. Our issue was basically about, the incessant activities of kaya ballers within the commercial hub.
Kaya ballers?
Yes.
Who are these?
Oh, junkies, who often, go to these houses and then carry their garbage.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we brought up the idea. He bought into the idea, and then he gave us, the Okanshi market to, sanitize that area. Thankfully, at least we've been able to hold the fort. We've been able to register about, I think, 200 to 250 shops who we are working with.
What these shops are required to do when you register?
They are required to, at the end of the day, when they close, whatever garbage that they have produced, you just leave them in front of your shops. And then we will come and then pick it up.
Okay.
We've been able to create jobs out of it. We have about 80 people on our payroll who are paying. And at least we made a headway. Now we are even planning to expand.
So the big question I'll ask you is, that's a small solution.
Sure.
Why is that solution working? What's the difference? Because when we try and scale it up at national level, we haven't seen the sustainability of the solutions.
Yes.
It doesn't travel long.
Evans, it is working for us as trash masters because, we've gotten the backing of the mayor of Accra.
The political leader.
Good. He's given us backing. We are liaising with, other agencies within the AMA hub, like Mr. Akui of, I think your boss. Formerly, yeah. Yes. And other people. The market people within Okanshi are cooperating. Because
why are they? Is there an incentive for them to cooperate?
It is, because now you don't have issues like when you come to work, you come to open your shop. You don't have people, car ballers littering your shop, all of those things.
But you make a very important point. Ibrahim, I'll bring it in here. He says that they've simplified the waste problem for the people. Yeah. Close your shop, put it in front of your shop, we'll come and pick it up. And it's getting cooperation. Absolutely. Isn't that the point you were making earlier about compliance? It made it easy for the people to deal and dispose of the filth. Absolutely. And so they are cooperating. They've seen that, oh my goodness, we can get a place clean because this guy is... Isn't that what we lack at the national level?
And precisely moving forward, and I know you are in your Joy Clean campaign, you are also interested in generating workable solutions for us to move on as a country. And that's precisely my two friends at the end were talking. If you look at the sanitation value chain, from capture containment through to storage, through to transportation, through to final disposal, and then processing and reuse. Precisely what my brother is saying, where we are as a country, to ensure that the fire catches with everybody, to manage sanitation well, then it means that in each of these elements of the sanitation value chain, we must be able to draw some incentives and target the youth, the women. But what is critical at this stage is that, and again, I bring compliance and doing things right there, because where we are now, the market is loose, it's unregulated. So he just brought the issue of Bola Kaya. You cannot do that without support of experts like Madame Florence and co. Yeah. And the ministry, as we speak now, also has a list of, if you like, private sector experts like the ESPA, who support the ministry to regulate. So that is also where we need to figure out, as much as the MMDAs, who have the responsibility. In fact, under the policy, the MMDAs has 5 major functions in terms of environmental sanitation. That's waste management, planning and monitoring, and then public health management and all that. So within the sanitation value chain, as he rightly said, a lot of movements is going. But how we get it right to ensure that we do waste separation, we do management, we do processing and reuse, and turn waste to wealth is also where we have to look.
Florence, let me ask you, I mean, what is it that because I've heard the examples, and I think from what I'm hearing, the authorities can make it easy for people to comply, right? By providing easy collections, regular. So the dustbins. I've seen pictures that he has on his phone of the dustbins full to overflowing. What is it that they at that level of AMA you're doing to make it easy for people to comply? So when I'm walking the street in the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, and I have the banana peel, and I don't have a pocket to put it in, or I don't have a bag, or I'm not driving a car to store it until I get home, I have a place to put it decently so you can come and collect it. What is happening? What is the approach that you're adopting for that too?
Yeah, thank you very much. That is where AMA has come out with the dustbin placement in the CBD area. Every 100 meters you find a dustbin placed there. Yes, but we come back to the individual. Somebody will even see the dustbin placed there, but they will still put the refuse on the ground.
Okay, before you go to the individual, I like that. I'll go there very much. But I want to also stick, because you are the authority, I want to stick with you a bit. He raised a concern about the dustbins are not being picked and emptied. Can you address that for me?
Yes, that is why I'm coming.
That is why. I'll come
the
to the
dustbin. The dustbins are picked daily. When you come to the CBD area, it is being managed by Accra Metropolitan Waste Management Department. When you come to the sanitation aspect, we have the hard body and the soft body. And the hard body is the waste we see out there, which is managed by the Waste Management Department. And they make sure that before they break, they work late in the night when everybody is sleeping. The Waste Management Department are out there collecting the waste and transporting it to the final disposal site. Though AMA or most of the assemblies have detached from AMA is becoming narrower and narrower, but the waste that is being generated in the center of Accra is still the same thing. Why? Because most of the people spend their lives in the center, the business center. They generate all the waste there and then go back to their various areas to go and sleep, leaving the AMA to still battle with the waste that when AMA was having 11 sub-metros. Now AMA is left with only 3 sub-metros, but it's still managing 11 sub-metro waste. So it is becoming hard.
Okay.
It's becoming
so
very,
the
very
reason
hard.
why we see some of the dustbins full and the challenge is overflowing because of and you collect it once a day.
Yes, it is being called. There's a point where they sent it.
Okay.
Then in the night, it is they collect the refuse from through the night till before daybreak.
Yeah.
All the refuse is being collected.
So what it means is that
then,
by 6 or 7 a.m. when it's empty.
Yes.
You don't collect it out till the next dawn.
When it is full, we have the waste management officers has people we call every sub-metro has a waste management officer there that goes round to see to it that when it is full, it is lifted to the central point where it's supposed to be put. Then in the night, they will collect them, and that is what they keep doing.
I mean, okay, so I mean, I'll come to you. I know you just joined, but I'll come to you. I want to quickly connect to the US. Jibril, hello, Jibril.
Hi, Ivan.
Hello, Jibril. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing great. Thanks for connecting. Where in the US are you connecting from?
I'm calling from Corning, New York, upstate New York.
Oh my goodness, New York is such a beautiful place. The problem with New York is when you walk in New York, the thing that I found quite startling was the heat that emanates from the drinks beneath your feet. And I looked down one time, I saw a lot of rodents, huge rats in there. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe there's a lot of filth, but it's beneath the surface. You live there. What is the situation with that? I mean, how do they manage to... You don't see the filth, but you almost sense and sometimes you can smell it. You know, tell me I'm lying. This is New York. I was there last year. That was my experience. How is this managed?
Well, I mean, that is true. I mean, in general, you cannot say 100% that there is no city, big city, the size of New York City in the world without filth, some level of filth. But the management of that filth is important. And I guess you are talking about New York City.
Talking about Manhattan, yes. I was in Manhattan.
Yeah, New York City. So back to the topic you are discussing. I see we don't have a lot of time, so I will generally just bucket this issue in three key areas. One, is education, and then compliance, so facilitation or providing of infrastructure to aid compliance, and then the enforcement. So if you look at, give an example around the area of education. When kids go to school here, if you are working with your first grade or second grade son or daughter, and you try to put a litter around, your little boy or daughter will tell you, "Hey, Dad, you are literate." Because right from that infancy, it's part of the education system, to not litter around.
Jibril, I seriously, I recall when I was in school in primary, it's part of our education system too. It's in the books too.
Exactly. That's what I'm
environmental science
to go to. For example, you remember, we used to have courtesy for boys and girls.
Yes.
How popular is that these days? That the intensity of that education, I think, has dwindled over the years. And then the issue of compliance and facilitation. Of course, the state or the community governance systems have a responsibility as well. Let me ask you this question: have you ever been to Accra Mall where you needed to pee, for example, and you go to the restroom and there's a long line over there?
Yes.
And you can't just walk into a shop, like go to ShopRite or go to Game and ask to use their restroom. They will not let you.
They'll point you to go to the general use area.
Exactly. The reverse is the case here. When I go to a shopping mall or a shopping center, I can just walk into their restroom. And then another example, if you were driving from the mall towards Tema, motorway roundabout, on the motorway, and you feel like easing yourself or you feel like peeing, ask me where on that whole stretch would you find a place where you can do what you need to nature's call legally? There is none. So that's providing the infrastructure for people to comply is also very important.
Jibril, hold the line for me. Let me connect to Michael in Germany. Hello, Michael.
Hello, good evening, Evans.
Michael, what's the situation in Germany? You lived in Ghana, right? And you've had the best of both worlds. Why is Germany so clean and Ghana so dirty?
Well, this is a very interesting topic that we are discussing this evening. Well, I think first of all, it's also the first point is education. I think that what I've realized here in Germany is that in the schools, children are taught to deal with waste. In our present day Ghana, you realize that this issue is often not discussed. And I think that until we take this education of sanitation much more seriously for the next generation, I don't think we are going to get anywhere. I heard you talking to Jibril that, you have this education already, part of our curriculum, but we don't seem to be having the point. Yes, we don't need to belabor the point. We still need to emphasize education. And I think this is the very important point. Second is law enforcement. In this country, there is no way you can dodge the law. I mean, think about it. When you are caught in the act, the law will deal with you. No politician, no member of your family can come and beg. The law will deal with you precisely.
Perfect example. This week when the assemblyman stopped the guys from doing their jobs to clean the place, his excuse was that he's going to have an election and that if the guys come and enforce the sanitation laws, the people will vote against him. That is Ghana for you. Yes. I guess that will never happen in Germany.
Yes. That will never, ever happen. It will never happen. Because the law will just catch up with you. The police will deal with you according to the laws of the country. And this is not something that anybody can do anything about. Unfortunately, I think the law enforcement is a bit weak in our country. And this is also boiled down to politics, I guess. Because at the end of the day, we are also looking at what kind of voter margins that are going to come in for us. So I think if until we deal with law enforcement, we are going nowhere. Thirdly, is service providers. I've realized that some of the service providers are not finding innovative ways to also deal with the waste management problem that we have in Ghana. For example, here we have dustbins for different kinds of waste. We have dustbins for papers. We have dustbins for liquid or solid waste. We also have dustbins for glass. We have dustbins for clothing, and so on and so forth. So at the end, you can see that they are using different techniques to be able to solve this issue.
And that's so true. The recyclers.
Yeah, waste separation.
I don't see that in Ghana.
We are few.
Okay, yeah. So, are you providing different dustbin for different?
There's waste separation ongoing, but on limited
Where?
scale. On a limited scale.
Where?
Actually, in some homes.
Yeah. In fact, Jakora.
Okay, it's doing that
Jakora
in some
Ventures
communities.
is
Okay.
doing waste segregation.
Yeah. You joined us recently. So, I want to drive at solutions, right? I think I've heard the bits and pieces of the solutions.
Yeah.
What solutions do we need to be implementing now to fix this problem?
Yeah, a very good evening to all Ghanaians.
And do it brief for me because we need to
yes.
wrap up.
So Ghanaians accept that sanitation is their civic responsibility. You will not get anywhere. You know, Ghanaians think that when you go back to the colonial era, in the 1925, when Accra School of Hygiene was established, what do you call it? Accra School of Hygiene was established.
Let me come to the big topic for the president, which is making Accra the cleanest city in Accra. The final question I want to ask all of you is: can we ever get to the point where we can say that Ghana is clean?
But even before,
and what would it take to get
even
there?
Before the
briefly,
before the response to
yeah.
that, the other bigger solution also is that if you take the waste management companies now,
yeah.
which currently is part of a bigger solution, because all over the world now municipalities are grappling with waste, and private companies have a bigger role to play to help the municipalities and metros. One of the challenges the private companies have is capital to get the art of the state of the art equipments to deal with waste. We are in a country where interest rate regime is high, and so part of the solution also is how will the state of Ghana help private companies. So for instance, ESPA and its members need support to be able to bring in equipment to deal with that.
So the question, hopeful that Ghana can ever become as clean as Germany, for example?
Yes, it would be.
Okay.
You know, the thing is...
And what would it take?
What we learned as children, we have discarded them. So the point is, let's go to the children again.
Okay, so start from the basics.
Let's start again. And then really make sure...
Florence, from your experience, when you started 19 years ago, what was your hope? What did you really want to achieve?
My hope and still my passion. I have passion for my work, and I'll be an environmental health officer. A tankasi is sama for that matter until I retire.
Exactly.
And my passion is to see Ghana become the cleanest country in the world before I go on pension.
Okay.
How
many years more do you have to go on pension?
Oh, I still have about 20 years to go on pension.
You've done 90 on radio.
Oh yes, I was little when I started.
From the 19 years ago to now, have you seen progress?
Yes, because that is what I'm saying. I am into the soft aspect of sanitation, which is health promotion and education. And I am seeing that bit by bit, there has been an improvement.
Oh, you have seen an improvement?
I've seen an improvement. But
have you seen improvement enough to tell you that by the time you hit your retirement in 20 years' time, you will be where you want to be with Ghana, the cleanest city in Africa?
Inshallah.
Oh, goodness. I like that. I like that. Okay. Good positive note. What about you? You are going to be a leader soon if your people vote for you.
Sure.
What your one single most important objective when it comes to sanitation is what? Briefly,
I think
30 seconds.
I would use, the churches and then our mosques. We in Ghana, we profess to be very religious. You have about 65% being Christians, and then the rest forming So I think that if our pastors and our imams also take time,
take this up in church,
take it up in the church, being part of their sermons, I think it would help.
I agree with you 100%.
Sure.
So I've had the education bit at the schools,
Yeah.
but if the Fridays Muslim prayers,
Good. On Sundays
the
too.
imams preach that, the
Good.
Sundays as well, you preach that, a
Yes.
significant part of this will be dealt with. And on Twitter, Big Sam says, I once decided to clean the streets around my area in Asokwa Kumasi. Passers-by just kept asking me if I had a contract with government. I was shocked. The Ghanaian is very dirty, but a few are doing well. Hashtag Joy Clean Ghana. This one says, Patrick says, if the appropriate authorities enforce our sanitation bylaws without fear or favor, citizens will obey them. And so simply enforce. Food vendor at Adaraka sold food to people, and one person saw maggot in the chicken. This is not right. Authorities must act now before something happens. And he has a picture of the food with the maggot in. Joy Clean Ghana. Thank you very much, AMA, for partnering. We'll see where you go next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.